Today we'll be taking a look at a few stories involving Becky Lynch and Roman Reigns, update on the Bloodline, and much more. Let's start things off with this news of Roman Reigns and Becky Lynch's movie. There's no doubt in anyone's mind that Roman Reigns and Becky Lynch will no doubt be WWE's next breakout stars in Hollywood. They both have worked on several acting projects in the past, but their next project will be featuring the both of them together in the film Rumble. Rumble is an animated movie about monsters that are actually pro wrestlers, sort of like a David and Goliath story as well, where you have one big bad monster that seems unstoppable that the underdog has to beat. The film was first announced back in February of 2020, but has faced a handful of delays due to the pandemic and is now set for a 2022 release. Becky Lynch and Roman Reigns will be featured in the film, and reports have them listed to play a couple of characters in the movie. So maybe they each have one role, or maybe they each voice multiple characters. It's a Paramount film, but WWE did co-produce it, so it will have that WWE feel and touch to it, especially since it's a fictional pro wrestling movie. So be on the lookout for two of WWE's biggest superstars, Becky Lynch and Roman Reigns, to put their acting skills on display in that film. The Bloodline continues to get stronger in WWE. It was just announced this week that Jimmy and Jay's brother, Joseph Fatu, has just signed with WWE. WWE had this to say on signing of Joseph. Joseph Fatu of Las Vegas is the younger brother of SmackDown Tag Team Champions Jimmy and Jay Uso, and the son of WWE Hall of Fame member Rikishi. Beyond being a member of one of sports entertainment's most decorated families, the 6'2", 240-pounder also played football in college. So this was definitely some big news. Joseph has been trying to build a name for himself over the last few years, and he always mentioned how WWE was the goal for him. Joseph obviously came from pro wrestling royalty, given what his family has done in the past, and even what they continue to do in current day with everything related to the Bloodline. So it's great news that he has finally achieved his goal. He has signed with WWE. Now, he'll have to work his way through WWE's process, and who knows, possibly even share the ring with his brothers and cousin one day. As far as everything Bloodline related on SmackDown right now, everything seems to be intact between the core three members of Roman Reigns, Jimmy, and Jay. There's no real tension there between the three of them at this moment. They all hold championship gold right now, so everything is fine. Usually holding gold erases a lot of your issues with each other, so all of them having a title plays a big role when it comes to keeping the peace among the group. The main conflict they're dealing with right now still seems to be an inner conflict with the Paul Heyman and Brock Lesnar situation. Jimmy and Jay came after Paul Heyman hard after SummerSlam right off the bat, letting him know about all their suspicions and even locking him out of the room. Roman Reigns, on the other hand, treated the situation much differently, didn't question Heyman right from the jump. But like we saw on the September 3rd edition of SmackDown, Roman is starting to make Heyman aware of his suspicions as well. You have Brock calling Paul Heyman on the phone, Heyman slipping up and knowing Brock's location. This was all things that Roman instantly questioned Heyman about. So that seems to be one of their main issues going on right now. And when you truly think about how much storylines revolve around the Bloodline, they basically pretty much run SmackDown. You have everything Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar related, Jimmy and Jay versus the Street Profits, Roman versus the Demon. Some fans think Naomi's story could lead her to the Bloodline as well. So you're talking about 4 storylines surrounding Roman Reigns, which is pretty unbelievable because we're so used to seeing everyone focusing on one story at a time. But this man has 4 top stories around him on SmackDown. Roman has his 2 next challengers already on him, just breathing down his neck. And those 2 are, of course, Brock Lesnar and the Demon, Finn Balor. If Roman is able to still hold on to the Universal title after these 2 big opponents, it'll make his already impressive reign seem even more impressive. Then you got Naomi. Not much progress has happened with that story this week, but something is always better than nothing. So let's talk about what they gave us there. Sonya Deville is backstage on the phone with someone, just hyping up the big show, that they had planned for SmackDown next week, when all of a sudden approached by Naomi. Sonya had told her the previous week to keep checking in to see if they have anything for her to do. So that's exactly what she did this week, but Sonya said that Naomi slipped her mind again and to keep checking back next week. Michael Cole then had a line where he stressed to the audience that Naomi was a former champion. So you have Naomi, who's a well-established superstar, multiple-time former women's champion, yet she has become an afterthought to Sonya Deville and Adam Pearce. That seems to be our story here, that Naomi obviously deserves better and deserves to have some sort of role on SmackDown, but keeps getting overlooked. Fans are still holding on to that bloodline theory, and that's how Roman could be tied to this storyline. Naomi turns to the bloodline for some guidance and to help her get back on track, and once she's under their guidance, that will lead us to the character change and heel turn for Naomi. A brand new ruthless version of Naomi that quickly puts her name into the discussion for the SmackDown Women's Championship. But even if the story isn't about her joining the bloodline, it does still seem like the story is still hinting at some sort of change for Naomi. What she's doing right now isn't catching management's attention, so that may force her to switch up her persona and attitude in order to finally get noticed. So it does appear that WWE has an idea and direction there for Naomi with this story. So we'll have to keep an eye on that story, even if it's just quick 30-second segments right now. There's finally some big news regarding Sasha Banks. Reports are now claiming that Sasha Banks was in fact backstage at SmackDown this week. That report was backed up by an Instagram user who was backstage at SmackDown this week and posed for a picture with Sasha Banks. So does that mean Sasha could be back on the road with WWE? It's still hard to know for sure. Is Sasha even cleared to compete? That's another question that we sort of have unanswered right now. As far as writing Sasha Banks back into the story, reports claim that there's been no talks of that as of late. So that's another confusing line right there as well. Does that mean Sasha's return is still far away from happening? Or will they write her back in as soon as she's fully cleared? All of that still remains unknown. The only thing that seems to be certain is that Sasha was backstage at SmackDown this week. But when it comes to her in-ring status and return, things are still very dark as they were several weeks ago. No one knows. September 10th still seems like an ideal spot for her to return at. Just return at the contract signing and stop that match between Becky and Sasha from becoming official and put your name into the mix. If Sasha doesn't return during that contract signing, then it really might be a bit longer before Sasha Banks returns. But what are your thoughts on today's stories? Leave your comments below, don't forget to subscribe with all notifications on, and leave a like if you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, guys.